Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Good morning, Wildcats. Today we are joined in the studio with Mr. Crawford to talk about the recent event in Florida. Thank you so much for coming down, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you for having me.
So, in light of the crisis in Florida, what can you tell students and staff about lockdown?
Well, lockdown procedures is something we need to practice often, and sort of that students understand the procedures and what they're to do if and in the unfortunate event that something were to happen on campus. We think we put a lot of time and effort into the procedures that we do, thinking about where our campus is, where students are located, and how quickly to get them in a lockdown mode if that were to happen. Keep in mind that when we come up with these plans, we work with the Sheriff's Department, the CHP, the Fire Department, Henry Mayo Hospital. All those organizations work together with us to create this plan. So it's so important that we practice it, and when we do, to take it seriously.
All right, and where can students locate the procedure?
If they want to look at our entire safety plan, but including the lockdown procedure, it's located on our website, westranchhighschool.com.
And how important is it for staff and students to work together and cooperate during a lockdown procedure?
Well, again, you can have all the safety procedures in place, but you're only as good as how you practice those procedures. So that's why it's important that we do the practicing. That's why it's important that we follow the safety guidelines on our campus every day. Even when you're on campus, we have the certain gates which we have students come through in the morning. It's important that students and staff do not open gates on the sides for people, even if they know something, because we want students, part of that procedure is there for safety. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can, from our lockdown procedures to how we just operate every single day on campus to make sure we're as safe as possible.
And I know right now there's a lot of talk on social media about a school-wide walkout. What can you tell students to clarify anything on this? Well,
what I want to do is just clarify a few things about things going on today. First of all, about the demonstrations against gun violence in schools. Word and organization about a possible activity for today came from a single student at Golden Valley. It is not a national day. There's no significance to the time that was relayed. The time was chosen by that student just because it aligned with the lunchtime on a Wednesday at Golden Valley. It was never meant to be a walkout, but just a demonstration against gun violence in schools during the lunch period. If students wish to do this on campus during lunchtime, that is fine, as long as it follows with California Ed Code and the national laws regarding things such as this, so that it does not disturb campus or safety on campus or infringe on the rights of other students or staff. If a student walks out prior to the lunchtime, it would be an unexcused absence and leaving without permission. We have students in our student body that have reached out to the staff and students in Parkland, Florida. And what they have communicated to us is what they would really help is appreciate words of encouragement written by other students across the nation sent to them. So what we've set up today is tables on campus during brunch and lunch for students to do just that. We will then collect those and send them to the students and the staff at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. But most importantly, we want to make sure that every student is safe on our campus. In order to do that, we need to practice our procedures, which we will do in a moment. But more importantly is we want to make sure our campus is a welcoming place for all students. If you see or hear that a student is in crisis or thinking about hurting themselves or others, please report it to an adult on campus immediately. Our goal will be to get that person the help they need and to make sure all of our students and staff are safe.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming down, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
Students, we are now going to participate in a school-wide lockdown drill.
Good morning, students and staff. I'm here today to talk to you about our school's lockdown procedure. The purpose of a lockdown is to have a plan in place should our school ever be faced with an unsafe situation, such as an unsafe hazard to health or a perpetrator whose goal is to harm someone on our campus. It is intended to limit access and hazards by controlling and managing staff and students in order to increase our safety. A lockdown may be called by school officials, law enforcement agencies, or other emergency responders. A lockdown may be called for a variety of reasons, including weapons, intruders, police activity in or around the school, contamination of hazardous materials, or terrorist events. The key to a successful school safety procedure for lockdown is planning, preparation, and practice. Schools must plan to be safe by reviewing its policies and procedures. Schools must be prepared by having an updated school safety plan. And finally, school districts must practice all the safety drills with staff and students, such as a lockdown and evacuation procedures. Annually, we practice our evacuation drills. This type of drill happens when the fire alarm rings and we evacuate outdoors to the backfields with our classes for our safety. But a lockdown drill is just the opposite. Lockdown drills are safety procedures designed to keep students indoors. There are different types of lockdowns. Sometimes we might go into lockdown mode when there is a concern for safety, but the school is not in immediate or imminent danger. Examples of these are impending issues with air quality due to a biohazard which is a distance away, safety concerns offsite at other far distant locations, but which might present a progressing concern for our school, and any other reason we would judge necessary to go down to a lockdown for your protection. In the previously mentioned cases, if students are already indoors in a class period, we would simply make a PA announcement to stay within your current classroom under lockdown. In these types of cases, we would direct staff and students to proceed with classroom instruction and stay locked down. But how do we lock down if we are out during lunch, tutorial, or brunch? If a lockdown needs to happen when we are out on campus during those times, we would make a PA announcement for all students to go immediately to their 4th period class. From there, you would follow all PA announcements and directions. But what if there was a case of immediate imminent danger? We would announce a lockdown and would direct all students and staff to go to the nearest open classroom or building for their safety. If students are not in imminent danger, students should sit in desks and proceed with the classroom setting. If it is communicated to you that lockdown is for immediate or imminent danger for your safety, here are the following things that you must do. Lock the door however you can, whether that's putting a chair against the door or by using a key. Close the windows and put the blinds down. Try to find a place where no one can see you. Cupboards, windowless rooms, and cubicles are all good places. If you are not in a room, get to the nearest room. For example, if you're in a computer lab or open office, go to the nearest room that can be locked. If you are in the bathroom, pull your feet up from the toilet and lock the door. Do not make any noise at all. Do not talk or make any movements. Try not to laugh, cough, or sneeze. Stay where you are until someone comes around and unlocks the door for you. Do not open the door for anyone. Law enforcement has keys to our school to unlock your room. Do not open the door no matter what anyone might say to you. Turn off cell phones. Do not phone or text. Phones need to be turned off immediately. Your phone buzzing or ringing could reveal your location to someone wanting to cause you harm. Do not text family members. A normal reaction of family members would be to try to come onto campus, but those who try to come onto campus may themselves be endangered and will be stopped by law enforcement. They may also affect law enforcement officers' ability to do their job and keep the rest of us safe. Know that in this type of emergency, the school notifies families and instructs your families where to assemble to pick you up for unification with their children. So in a lockdown, remember to turn your cell phones off immediately. Stay calm. Do not make any sounds, and do not trust anyone except police, CHP, sheriff, firefighters, directives, or anyone else with school authority. You are expected to follow their orders without question, even if it may appear to increase the danger you face. For student accountability, teachers should, as best they can, create a written list of students in their care during lockdown and submit to administration after the lockdown is concluded. Planning, preparation, and practice are all tools in keeping us safe. If we don't know what to do, that's when we become our most fearful. So, to allay some of those fears, it is now time for you to practice a full lockdown for imminent danger. Let's simulate the most extreme situation of a shooter on campus. Students, we ask you to act responsibly and seriously as we walk through these directions and with your teacher for practice. Assume you've just heard an announcement to go to full lockdown for imminent danger. Teachers, please lock your classroom doors now. Students, while your teacher does this, be aware of your surroundings. Look around the classroom. Locate doors, windows, and possible protection spaces within the classroom. A student or teacher should close any curtains or blinds and turn out the lights. Students and teachers should now get to the furthest most area in the room away from doors and even windows if possible. Students and teachers, you may now return to your desks. What you have just practiced is the most extreme situation of a lockdown scenario. By always staying alert and aware and by practicing our procedures, we will keep everyone safe at our school. Thank you for your help and cooperation today in our planning, preparing, and practicing lockdown safety procedures. Have a great and safe day. Thank you.